Hey everybody, it's JJ, and it's Thursday on the Breakfast Club, and I have my nice microphone plugged in so that you don't have to hear the crappy audio of my computer scraping against my blankets. Um, I always film in bed, don't I? I think I do everything in bed. Like, I was just saying the other day, I don't know how, like, housewives do it. Like, I honestly, mad respect. Like, if I was at home all day, I would never get out of bed. um, Besides the point. Well, not really. Today I wanted to talk about burning out and subsequently reorienting yourself in a new direction that gives you more fire and passion. So, about 2 years ago, no, about a year and a half ago, I got really, really burnt out of the online discourse surrounding social issues, in particular feminism and politics, or current politics at least. So, I made a video on my channel. I was like, I'm done with this. Like, I cannot handle this anymore. I'm going to have a mental breakdown because it felt like, no one was ever on the same page, and my contributions weren't helping anything, and, it was getting me a lot of hate, and so, I just felt very, overwhelmed and just unhappy, because sometimes people burn out, and that's what happened. But I'm trying to, think about how to say this. So, on the Breakfast Club, we have a lot of conversations that are about these same issues. And the reason that I love the Breakfast Club so much is that because we are in a very specific environment with very specific people, I know that's super vague even though it was about specificity, I think there's a little bit more accountability for the things that we say. So if I make a video response to someone else on the internet and they make a video response to me, let's say it was like Sargon or something, like there's not a level of accountability there because we both have different expectations for how we're going to treat each other and how this conversation is going to happen. But I feel like on the Breakfast Club, there's a little bit more accountability because there's a precedent that's been set for how we conduct ourselves and how we talk to each other. And I'm pretty happy with the way that people stick to it. And very rarely do I find a video on the internet that is, of an opinion that's like polar opposite to mine, where I'm like, wow, I'm really learning something, because I get overwhelmed with the frustration and typically the anger that's in the video. There's a lot of hostility when we talk about politics, which is understandable to some degree because it's, it's inevitably personal. But I feel like on the Breakfast Club, that hostility is not necessarily there. And sometimes it is. Sometimes you can see it come out. And myself, too. But it's really nice because I love watching people on this channel talk about things. And, I find myself being surprised with what people say. And I think in the Breakfast Club, a lot of people feel more comfortable being nuanced in their opinions. I know a lot of people, like our channels, my channel, JJ Talks, for a long time felt like I had this face of feminism that I had to upkeep. And there's obviously a lot of things about feminism that I criticize. If you know me at all, you'll know that. But it's not necessarily, I didn't make videos about those things, not because I hide my beliefs, because if I was, on Twitter or something, I would talk about them. But it felt like my channel was a place for this static content, I guess I'd call it. Very static. And I like that it's not like that here, and I enjoy it so much. And again, I'm constantly, got that funk, Agent of Doubt who parachutes all the time. Both of those two people are people where I'm like, I never know what they're going to say about something, ever. I never know what their opinion's going to be. And I love it, and I love watching their videos. And I respect everyone so greatly on this channel. And sorry, I'm just now I'm just talking about how great the Breakfast Club is. But, the Breakfast Club has really been a nice oasis of thought for me to retreat into, which I know is not, you shouldn't retreat into any thought, but it's a nice reminder to me that, you know, I don't have to burn out on important topics. Like I don't. And that there are people out there who are listening, and who are listening not to confront and to attack, but are listening to understand. And that's super important. But, you know, and I was having a conversation with someone at work the other day, and this is kind of like going on a new track, about being burnt out. And they said something to me that was understandable but upsetting, which is that, you know, you can't get burnt out on this stuff because nothing's gonna, like, you can't stop fighting ever. You know, you can't get burnt out. We don't have that time, you know, we don't have that luxury, which totally is understandable. But I also want to, like, remind everyone who feels that way that it is okay to get burnt out, because as a human being, like, psychologically, like, if I had kept making videos on my JJ Talks channel, and I do make videos there now, but they're very, very different. If I kept making videos the way I was making them, and not getting burnt out, and engaging in because everyone wants to have a debate with you, everyone wants to have a conversation with you, and if I had put up with that for more than a few more weeks that I had, like, I would have just, like, fucking had a mental breakdown, because we're all people, and that's important to remember. And people need breaks. People need self-care. And I don't say, you know, that's a whole nother conversation. I don't say that lightly. Like, people need to take care of themselves, and their brains, because we are constantly, you know, thinking about the stuff and doing stuff. And it's okay to want that kind of reprieve for yourself. And I also think, you know, something that sometimes your passions become a job, and once it becomes a job, you no longer are passionate about it, and therefore that burnout occurs, especially because I'm certainly not getting paid to talk to you guys, or anyone on the internet in general, about this stuff. And if you're someone who's not a YouTuber and you're like, but JJ, your main channel has 20,000 subscribers, like, you get paid by ads. No, like, honestly, that ad money is so, like, non-existent, like, you don't even know. Like, I think I just got paid like $50 for the past, like, year. But anyway, besides the point, like, my point is, like, we're doing it because we love to do it. And so what happens when it becomes an unpaid job? You resent it. And I don't want to resent the issues that I care about, and I don't resent them, but I can definitely feel that kind of belligerence in myself taking over sometimes. And I think that, you know, during those times, it's important to find a place like the Breakfast Club, where you know that you're not going to have to work yourself into a mental frenzy because of, you know, how stupid people are. That's a really horrible way to say that. But, you know, in many ways, the Breakfast Club is a, you know, comfortable space to, like, just talk. And I needed that. And that's the reason that, you know, before I even came back to YouTube, when Paul asked me to come back to the Breakfast Club, I was like, yes, absolutely. You know, I always thought, because the Breakfast Club, we talked about social issues a lot, that it was contributing to this problem, this resentment that I was developing towards social issues. But it wasn't. It was actually the one piece of my internet presence that wasn't building resentment in me. And so to find a place where you can just talk, and you can breathe, and you can, you know, this is going to, like, take off your bra is what I was going to say. Take off your pants, whatever. Just something that, like, you don't have to be perfect in. And you can be real. Because as much as we'd like to say that we're real, we're always putting on a front of some sort, obviously, the face you show the world. But that mask is a little bit less opaque on the Breakfast Club, I think, and I really appreciate that. And so you need to find your Breakfast Club, and maybe your Breakfast Club is the Breakfast Club, or find something else that really makes you passionate, you know, and maybe for a time being that isn't politics, you know. I started talking about stuff that I study a lot or stuff that I'm reading because I love it and it brings me great joy to talk about them all the time. Because it's really, I don't know. It's just super important to recognize that it's okay to have that burnout. And that burnout will happen, especially if you're doing it full time, it feels like. And that it's okay and it's not wrong and you're not a bad person to take a break. You know, you're not going to create Donald Trump overnight. Maybe you are, I don't know. You can take a break. It's okay. You don't have to be a superhero, and you need to take care of yourself. And I know this video is all over the place, but I think it's really important because I'm seeing a lot of my people I care about experiencing this. Sometimes you just got to put it down for a minute and move on to something else. And that's okay. Anyway, I don't think that's in line with any topics this week, but oh well.